All right, welcome to Postgame Live. Here's Bill Belichick meeting up with his friend Andy Reid after the game. Possibly the second to last game at Gillette Stadium. Meeting with Patrick Mahomes there. Second to last game at Gillette Stadium for Belichick as head coach of the New England Patriots. Lots of hugs after the Patriots lose to the Kansas City Chiefs. Final score that game, 27-17. Patriots now 3-11 on the season. Got the whole crew here. Matt Cassel will join us soon. Got Tommy Curran, got Ted Johnson, and I'm Michael Holley in for Amina Smith, who you just saw doing Celtics postgame live. Curran, really a strange pace at the end of this game. Patriots down by 2 scores, 3.5 minutes to play. They got the ball, and they kind of slow walk it. Just what was your take on that particular sequence in the game overall?
You know what, the game overall, I'll stick with that because I know Teddy's strong on the other stuff. But to me, you have a game that follows the path of so many other Patriots games this season. Aside from the blowouts they've had, you have one that's pockmarked by mistakes, that has some calls in there that kneecap the Patriots, and then they're just not able to recover from them. You got a defense that puts together an outstanding performance. They hold 28 yards for Travis Kelce. They really limit Patrick Mahomes, but it's the wondrous talents of that quarterback and the mobility that the Patriots have to look at and say, we need one of those. We're not going to get that one, but we need one of those. But it really follows the same track of so many things that we've seen this year that it really doesn't alter the conversation much.
Ted Johnson, what'd you see?
Yeah, I thought it was embarrassing how that game ended. I really did. I thought it was embarrassing the way the game was called, how there was just the conservative nature in which that game was called from Bill Belichick. I mean, you were down 17 points late in that game. The Patriots had a 4th and 7, they punt. They had a 4th and 3, they punted. All down 17. They had a 4th and 4, they punted. That's embarrassing. And in that last drive when they were down by 10 points inside their 1-yard line, they're huddling up. They're not even doing a hurry up. They never hurried up. There was no sense of urgency. It looked like a head coach wasn't trying to win the game. He was trying to engineer a near loss. And that, to me, if I'm a player, I am not happy with the way this game was coached from the sidelines.
Matt Cassel is bringing him in the quarterback, and you've been in that situation over the years where you're the one who's supposed to be setting the tone. Let's get us into something. What did you see there down the stretch for the Patriots?
Yeah, I agree with Ted that there needed to be a sense of urgency, especially early in the third quarter. I believe there was a 4th and 4. Why not go for it? I believe that they were on the 46-yard line at that point, and you're down, I think it was 3 scores. And if you're really going out there and you want to go win the game, you go for that and you try to go and get that first down, extended drive, because what do you have to lose? And at that same period of time, you know that you only have so many possessions left in the game for your offense to go have the ability to score and put points on the board. So I would agree with you with that. And then I believe it also was the tale of 2 halves. I thought that they fought and battled. Tom Curran, you mentioned the fact that there was a lot of major penalties that nullified some really positive things going on, whether it was the fumble, whether it was the Hunter Henry touchdown reception that he had, that Bailey Zappi did extraordinary things on that. But then it was the momentum shift when Kansas City went down at the end of the first half, scored, came out from halftime, went down, put 3 points on the field goal, the interception that once again led to another touchdown. And after that, other than that, I think that the defense played pretty well. But again, they put themselves in a bad position, particularly in the second half.
All right, well, we talked about urgency from you guys. Let's hear the head coach of the Patriots, Bill Belichick, answering that particular question. Why no urgency down the stretch? Here's Belichick.
You went for it early in the game, 4th and 2, and got the touchdown. Later in the game, early fourth quarter, was 4th and 3, kind of near midfield. You decided to punt. What went into that decision? Any thought to go for it there?
Yeah, before we got the interception.
Yeah, it was like, I think you're down by 17. It was 4th and 3.
Yeah, and then we got the interception. Right. Felt like, I mean, at that point we'd lost 3 starters. Worried about the pass protection. Worried about just what be able to execute in that situation. Felt like we were playing good defense and get the ball back on a turnover, or, 3 and out, get the ball in better field position.
Bill, last 3 minutes, you had called the timeouts to get the ball back. You're working from your own end zone. Seemed to huddle, substitute a lot. One of the offensive players in the locker room lamented the tempo that ran the clock down to 2 minutes. Were you okay with the tempo there, down 10 with a couple minutes left?
We ended up in a check play there, and we could have gone quicker.
Bill, when Ben was asking about a fourth down decision, I think you thought it was fourth down from your own 33. There was another series previous to that. It was the first set of plays you guys had in the fourth quarter. Same decision-making for you in terms of the injuries and not wanting to go for it. There's 4th and 3 is at your own 42.
Yeah, it's not a question of not wanting to go for it. It's a question of doing what you feel like is best at that point in time.
Was that related to the injuries, though, like you mentioned for the previous situation?
There's a lot of things that go into a decision. It's not one thing.
Oh, I'm old enough to remember a Bill Belichick who didn't talk like that. I'm old enough to remember a Bill Belichick who had a little more fight, a little more giddy up. Okay, now, Ted, I know how you felt before you heard that sound. You hear that sound. Is there anything you'd like to add? Because that is really shocking to hear that kind of just kind of blasé Belichick.
Man, it's unbelievable. I'm sorry. It just is. I know he's the greatest coach of all time, but I mean, what I'm seeing from him and his coaching decisions in the last few years when it comes to some of these games where I feel like he's just trying to engineer close losses. I mean, for him to be called out on why he didn't go for it on fourth down, and he says, well, we got an interception on that next possession, on the Chiefs' next possession. You don't know you're going to get an interception on that possession, Bill. I mean, that's crazy. And so it's just it's him deflecting. That's what he does. And it's frustrating. If I'm a player on that team, I am not happy with that because this has been a pattern from Bill the last several years, Tom.
It's an admission and an acknowledgement that you don't want your offense on the field, that you would rather have your defense on the field. And I understand his logic. If he was sitting here right now, he'd say, well, we didn't have Cole Strange. Trent Brown wasn't in. We can't protect. We're not getting, we don't have Stevenson. So what are we supposed to do? And I get that logic, but as Teddy points out, this goes back to last year against the Buffalo Bills, 21-10, and they're raising the white flag to try and save themselves from being on the field offensively and punting it away. They want their defense on the field because their offense isn't equipped. Their offense isn't unequipped because of strictly injuries. Their offense is unequipped because they don't have tackles that they brought in the offseason. They don't have enough running backs because Ezekiel Elliott was an August signing. They don't have enough wide receivers. Hunter Henry's hurt. You don't really have any other tight ends, as you acknowledged, Bill. Mike Gesicki's a wide receiver. So you have Hunter Henry and Pharaoh Brown. And you've got a backup quarterback because the starting quarterback that you were building around is unusable at this juncture. So to me, you can say, well, we're in a situation we can't protect and we have to get it back to our defense. I understand that. It's a good defense. But it's not just, you're not a victim of circumstance in this regard, Matt Cassel.
Cassel, if you're out there, are you fighting?
That's my question.
Are you fighting for it?
That's my question. If they go for those on fourth down, are you guys feel better about it? If they don't get both of those fourth downs, but they went for it, you feel better about it, even though it might become even a worse blowout?
Yeah, it's
okay, I understand. But I feel like, but I also feel like Curran just pointed to a million reasons why he should have punted the ball, let the defense play, get opportunistic, get that interception, and be able to go score a touchdown and close the gap. So I understand both of the sides of the argument, and both sides of the argument in terms of Bill Belichick. The reason why he punts is because he's got more trust in his defense, deservedly so. That is factual. That is something that you look at this team and how it's structured and where their strength is. It's on the defensive side of the ball. But I also, as an offensive guy, if we're going to get back into this game, if we're going to have an opportunity to potentially go win this game, you've got to go for it on those fourth downs. You've got to put the ball and take the risk, even though you're depleted on the offensive line. Even though you're missing your key components, you've got to give those guys an opportunity to go make that play.
I don't see both sides of it, though, Cassel. And I just want to go back to you as a quarterback. You're 3-10 in that situation. You're 3-10 taking on a team that's better than you are. Fourth down, it's the mentality you got to have. You mean to tell me that guys in that locker room, guys in that huddle are saying, oh, we can't do it. We can't block anybody anyway. So, why not punt it? What kind of message are you sending to your offensive players if that's the way you feel? I mean, wouldn't you, as a quarterback, say, come on, coach, let's go?
It's like saying, I would rather them have the ball and have our defense try to stop them than have you out here trying to gain yards. To me, it is an incredibly damning admission. And it's one that's been made a number of times this year by Bill in different circumstances.
So, Cassel, what do you say to that?
I'd be pissed off. As a quarterback of the team, I'd say, look, we've got to go out. We've got these guys out here. They've all made this team, whether it was by default or not, whether we had to bring you in. And you've got to give us an opportunity, give us enough trust to go out there, because the lack of confidence also hurts this team at times, because maybe Bailey Zappi goes and makes a play, or Devontae Parker, or one of these other guys step up, and you're able to go put together a drive and get yourself back into the ball game. So again, as a player, as a competitor, you want the ball in your hand. You want the opportunity to do everything you can to win the ball game. And I just believe at times when you punt in that situation, particularly in the fourth quarter, you're submitting to the fact that, look, we're probably going to lose this game. Let's make it a little bit closer.
And you know what? It's crazy. He's basically, Bill, saying that, I'd rather my defense that's playing the Kansas City Chiefs. I trust that unit more than I trust my offense going up against the Kansas City Chiefs defense. I mean, can you imagine that back in the day? Him saying that? Absolutely not. And so in the defense, I mean, you had a lot of trust in your defense, and I'm not sure why. Look, the defense gave up 4 consecutive scoring drives, 1 before the half, and then 3 to start the second half, and the game was pretty much over at that point. Like you have to, just because guys are injured doesn't mean you stop playing football. I mean, you don't just take it, kneel down, and then punt, and then hope your defense gets a turnover. You can't expect a defense to get a turnover like it did against the Kansas City offense when you're down 17 points.
2004, Bill Belichick talking to 2023, Bill Belichick, and say, what happened?
I don't even know
what
this,
happened
Coach.
to you?
I mean, for real.
This is a future version of myself.
Matt, do you remember your game against the Indianapolis Colts in 2008 when you guys were on the road and Bill refused to punt the football because he said that opportunities are finite? We could read the game and understand what was going on. He left you guys on the field because he understood giving the ball back to Peyton Manning, which is basically like Patrick Mahomes, means done.
Right, and every opportunity we had where we put ourselves in a position where it was a manageable situation where you could go for it on that fourth down, we did. We tried to milk the clock. That was the game plan, and we're going to try to possess the ball for as long as possible. Now, we didn't make the play some plays at the end of that game, but we were in that ball game throughout the entirety of it because of that reason, because of the aggressive nature and the stance that we took that, hey, we're going to have to do whatever it takes to go beat this potent offense with Peyton Manning, and that's how we've got to play this game today.
And one other thing that Bill used to always say, Matt, I don't know if you remember this, but he said, the best predictor of the future is always the past. And look, if you look at what the Patriots, they went for it on fourth down in this game.
Right. It got a touchdown. Right.
It's like, I mean, come on. It's like you already had success beating them on a fourth down. It was a great play to Hunter Henry in the end zone on 4th and 1. To not have faith in your offense to get a first down with 7 yards to go, with 3 yards to go, with 4 yards to go, when you're down 17 points, that to me is inexcusable.